First time I came up here was more like, wow, what a view, who gets to see this? So we're at the top of the legislature building in Edmonton, at the very top edge of the dome. It's a space known as the candle or cupola. This portion of the building is not on the regular tour. It's a restricted space in that the ladders and the access stairs to get up here are quite narrow and not for public use. The people that come up here are building maintenance trades guys that just come up here for required building services. We do bring guests up here once in a while, especially those that are tied to the government in certain ways. I think a lot of people are just shocked that the dome that you see from the main rotunda of the legislature building when you look up isn't actually the inside of the main dome that you see from the outside. That we do have quite an attic space up there that serves a space function to keep air distribution and to keep it warm below. Coming up the stairs is a fairly narrow, tight corridor. It's kind of a dark, a little bit of an eerie space. It's not really an area for occupancy, of course. So this area has been kind of noted as an area for some of our summer students to come up and be able to experience the view and some of the pages and the transient staff that work for the Legislative Assembly that work in visitor services through the summer to be able to come up and experience the space, and many of them have left behind their signatures. Many of them have disappeared. We've got a few down lower that were inscribed in the walls in the steel structure that have remained, but some of the older signatures that were up here before were eliminated when the steelwork was redone and repainted. So the space doesn't really have any ghosts. I think they were probably all removed when the cupola was completely demolished and rebuilt back in starting in 2012 through 2014. The area, of course, was over 100 years old, and we saw quite a bit of deterioration in the stonework. And to make sure that we preserved the history of the building, we went through a fairly major restoration at that point, and this area of the building was completely rebuilt except for the steel skeleton structure that's in behind the stonework. So up in the cupola, there's a light that is turned on only during session. So while the MLAs and ministers are sitting in the chamber and debating politics, there's a light at the top of the cupola that is on, and then it is turned off at each time that the session ends of that day. Other than for a tight maintenance ladder, it's actually a reasonable spot to be able to get up to service our lights. And the speakers for the carillon that everybody hears and the music on the grounds that's played is located up here in the cupola, and they're aimed out 360 degrees to play around the legislature building. And it's an experience that people can have from the ground.